All right, I couldn't get my second and third IF to work, and I traced it back to a filament. And you say, filament? Did you redo that? Yeah, I did. I did redo the filaments, but the guy who originally had the radio, he moved some of the main wires around um, to make the pairs of tubes that are in series with each other different. And the radio requires a 12SR7, okay? And he used a different tube which had pinouts of, the filament was 2 and 7, and this is 7 and 8. And so he redid the layout of pairs of tubes, and I fell for it. I don't have a lot of experience when you go that deep into the radio, so I'm noticing I have screen voltage on the tube. I got plate voltage. I have a return to ground, and then I had the input pin 4 was the grid. I had the signal there coming off the first IF tube. So I'm like, could the filament not be lit? And then I'm like, and it wasn't lit. And I'm working. I'm like, oh man. I put a 2SR7 in, and the other guy had one of these things, whatever it is, some type of amplifier tube, and it's a 6 volt. This is 6X5, whatever he had in there, but it's 2 and 8, or 2 and 7, and I'm like, let me go back, and I check it, and I have no filament voltage. And then I start looking. I figured it out, and I did get it working. And there's still a tube in here. Wait till you see how long it takes for it to warm up. I swapped out some tubes, and one of the tubes really takes a long time to warm up, or it's got a short in it, and after it's on a while, it kicks out, because it should be on right about now, but it's not. We'll wait a little while longer. So there's like this is now Shango does an end of life EOL. That's what this radio really needs. But she's working on it. Come on, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Philly B101.1.
Okay. So 75% of the radio is now working. And, I'm going to watch the parade, and then I'm going to figure out what tube is taking so long to warm up. And I have enough spare tubes. It's probably a 6XK7. I'm going to take one out at a time, and it only takes 15 seconds to figure out which one's the bad one. But what a nightmare this thing is, And I still have an overloading problem when I turn the gain control all the way up. The radio cuts out. Now that could be a bad pot, because I'm using a gain control pot that's off another radio. And also I have a different IF can in there than the set that I was using. So I have to go back through it, but I got it working. But when you have something that someone else wired, see, they can go, oh, that'll work. Where I try to stay with a schematic. So I always keep thinking, if the next guy goes in there, what's he going to think of me if I pull a quick one? But there's so many ways in life you can cheat, and it works. But then when the next guy comes along, he's like, what the hell am I looking at? And a lot of times with a car and stuff, the mechanic don't even want to touch it. Now, I don't know if you watch those videos, but the mechanic is like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. And you got the owner, well, it's this and that. And the guy goes, I can't work on this. I don't know. He doesn't know if the problem is in what the person put on the car or something else is bad. And that's the thing in a radio. When people add stuff on, they mess up, or they have a bad solder joint. So then you troubleshoot it back to something they did, and then they're embarrassed. And that's why over the years, I've always got stuck with crap like this. Okay, I told you in so many videos that I keep going cheap. And it's like my neighbors they always want me to help them out or do stuff, and they say, we know you know how to do it. We know you can fix it. Now, the other day, my neighbor bought a Frosty the Snowman thing you put together, and it's made in China, and it's for outside, but there's no way it's going to hold together. So he starts putting it together, and he gets frustrated, and he broke apart. So he says he kicked it off to the side, put it back in the box, and put it off to the side. So then the other day he comes running out with it because I know you can get this together. And I said, please don't do this to me. And he hands me like 20 bucks. He goes, no, no. He goes, I know you can do it. So I put it in my living room. I opened it all up, and I found the part that he broke. I started putting the pieces together, and I used copper wire in the one spot where he broke a clip. And it's spring-loaded. It's like a frame, a steel frame with like a snow fabric over it. And I got it all together. And then I realized if we put it outside, it's gonna fall apart in pieces. So I used a bunch of zip ties, white zip ties, so you couldn't see them. And I modified it and made it stronger. And I left enough of the zip tie, so if he has to take it apart, he could just cut them. And I showed him the whole thing. He goes, I knew you would do it like this. See, people figure me out after a while that I go the extra mile, and it's not worth it, okay? Now the parade's coming on. I think I'm gonna try to sit and watch the parade, okay? And I'm having my pork chops today. And I bought some snacks. And this is hilarious, you know? You go in there and, you know, I knew the filaments were wired in parallel, okay, instead of series parallel strings. And he actually changed one of the main wires to change the two tubes that are now in, you know, he did have a resistor in there. I know what he did now. Okay, he used two tubes in parallel and then one in series with a resistor. Yeah, he did something really oddball in this thing. I did find this big resistor, and it was on the filament, and that's what he did. He did something. So he shifted over. Oh, that's what he shifted over the sets of strings in the radio, so he could sit and experiment on what tubes he wanted to use in the output section. Okay, and I think I got what he did. And I go in there and I see that resistor. I'm like, why would he need a resistor? And I'm like, you know, just unsolder it. And that's what I did. Oh, here's the resistor. Hey, you put it on a bracket and everything. And this was in series with the filaments, but probably on just the last two tubes. And that's funny. But he wired, well, he really bodged this thing up. But his soldering on the filaments was so good that when he moved that older wire on me, and he moved the wire between two different tubes, he didn't just move it in one place. And I'm looking at that wire, but that's the original wire, but I could tell new solder on it. I go, you know what he did? He took that wire from somewhere else, and he rewired the radio a different way. And then I got my wire, which I used yellow, and I redid it, and I'm like, son of a bitch. But now I got a tube that really takes a long time to warm up. Hopefully I can find it, and it's not something trickier. But you know what? The way things have been going, this is. I never did an EOL, end of life, where you set the thing on fire. But this is a perfect candidate for that. I think that's it. All right, that's it.